Hello everybody and welcome to today's episode of Astrocraft. So as you might be able to tell by my skin if I take everything off, it's Christmas time. Oh yeah. So I made another Christmas skin. Of course I did. I just can't really help myself. So there's the nice back of my Christmas skin, there's the nice front, you can sort of see the sides. Anyways, we are doing a wonderful Christmas time celebration. But it's gonna be pretty short-lived. Sorry for sort of getting your hopes up and then sort of taking them down. But we have some very important things to do. As you might be able to tell, I've died quite a few times recently. I lost all my stuff again. No problem. But it was because I was end raiding to prepare for the Christmas time ultimate presents for the rest of the server. So, as you may be able to tell, over here is a Christmas present. It's not facing my side of the bridge because it's not meant for me. It's meant for Starlight because I made it myself. Probably should sleep. I am currently the only one on the server, so it's a bit harsh. So for the Christmas season, I decided to bless all of my fellow server members with Christmas gifts. So here is one of them, Starlight's in particular, because she lives so close. I'm just using hers as the example, and if I open it up, you can see on the inside there's a little chest, and hopefully Starlight will have picked up her present by the time she's watching this video. If not, Starlight, look away. Here is her Christmas present, filled to the brim with lovely goodies. Some Elytra, because she lost her Elytra again, but I do not hold it against her, and a diamond chest plate, some steak. It's like very loaded. I had let's just say my end rating spree was a bit more successful than I thought it would be. I got 32 shulker boxes. I'm not kidding. You know, like how I've been using a lot of shulker boxes lately because of course I need a lot. So down here I still have my setup from building the exterior of the build. Around the back, since the last episode, I have pretty much gotten pretty close to finishing the farm area. It is beautiful. It is lovely. I've started using it. But I have a few shulker boxes here and there. I have an ender chest too. And then if I fly all the way down here, you can see I have done some exterior work too. I've sort of made the boulders I was talking about. I need to do the texturing for them, but I was sort of like getting a bit of burnout from doing these boulders. So I sort of needed to figure out something else to do for a little while. And then I sort of started moving villagers into my little yurt here. Or my windmill build. I don't really know what to call it. It looks a bit like a yurt, to be honest. So it's a circular thing. It's nice and wide and open. And most of the farmers are like expert level now. I've been using them so much. But that also means I've gotten lots and lots of emeralds. So this is about the lowest I've had in emeralds for a while. And you can tell I'm a bit low on diamonds because I was using them. And I got a trident the other day. I was so lucky. I wasn't recording. I was getting ink sacks because I needed black dye for what we are doing today. So let's go around and show you guys a bit about what I'm doing today. Yeah, unfortunately I do not have recall on my trident, but it's not too bad. It has mending, impaling, and unbreaking, so I'm not too worried about it. Yeah, anyways, getting a bit distracted. So for the Christmas season, I did that, but not for the Christmas season. And the main sort of pinnacle of the episode that we are doing today is this tower right here. So as you can see, I sort of built extra floor for the tower here, because I've designed it. So, I'm not gonna pull up the designs, but this is my farm tower. It is full of farms, and I'm not kidding. It has 1, 2, 3, 4 farms. One is a dried kelp farm, the other is a sugarcane farm, the other is a bamboo farm, and the last one is a cactus farm. All of them are pretty tall and pretty profitable, because let me tell you, I have them running on my creative server, and they have been making bank even though I keep emptying their chests out because I keep messing up I kept messing up the design. But now I've figured all the redstone out, and I sort of think it's at a good place to build in the world. So here is our area we will be building today. It's a rather big project, so here are all the shulker boxes I have out down here. It's a sizable amount. It's around 10 shulker boxes. No, 12, and then 2 extra, because this is my water shulker box that I use quite frequently, and this is my deep slate tile shulker box that I used to pre-build the floor. And it is not because watching me build the floor is not satisfying. Honestly, it's one of my favorite parts of the build. But it is because I've had some stuff going on in my recording studio recently, and I had to. It was very noisy, so I was looking for something to do ahead of time. So while it was pretty noisy in here, so I didn't have to, do a lot of audio stuff. So in here is the area the farms will be, and I do not have multiple floors inside the farm area just because of the height of these farms, because I made them all stackable and there are a lot of levels to them. So down here I have all the materials, lots of materials. I spent lots of time getting these materials. Spruce planks, deep slate, yada yada. But the farms are not the main reason I'm building this. While I am low on sugar cane, I'm not low on bamboo and cactus and whatever else I'm building. I need to build the main part that I've actually been looking forward to building. This part. It is the villager area. So underneath all of my farm craziness down here, I have planned out a villager area. So it's not like large. It's a giant network of villagers that I specifically designed actually, just so I could have a nice large area to keep all of them. And it is also purposely the farthest away from the pillager outpost I could get it. I also sort of have the layout for 3 of my pillars now, which is great, but I only have the designs for this one. So I'm actually very excited to sort of get working on this one because I've been waiting to put my villagers in this place for a while. It's just such a large thing that I'm making. I've been waiting to build this for a while because I wanted a proper place for my villagers, and I wanted it to interconnect with the rest of my base very well. So I have only sort of made tunnels. My base design is very large, interconnecting labyrinth, basically. From what I've worked on so far, there are going to be hallways everywhere, and you're going to be able to fly in most of them. But I have just been sort of designing stuff. I have my storage room fully designed, by the way, but because of the amount of resources it's about to take, I decided it might be better if I just build this first, so I have more resources to be able to fly around and get the rest of the materials necessary to build that. And there are also a few more things I need to build before I can actually build my storage room, which is one of the reasons why I actually have been waiting to build it for a while. I've had the designs for a few months now, but honestly, I've been working on so much stuff over on my design world, I haven't really thought about it. So, as you saw when I was building the front of the base overall, there are a few extra things here that I need to build. I need to build the walls, I need to make more easier access entrances, which is what I was actually doing yesterday on my design world. Because while it was super noisy in my recording studio, I decided it's probably good to put this time to good use. So I also designed entryways from all of the sides. So I got the flush 2-piston doors. So I now have the designs to put them in here, and it's not going to take too many resources. I actually found a pretty easy one that I will link in the description when I build them. But to be quite honest, it is a great piston door and it worked really well for me, but you need to follow all the instructions because I tried to modify the design a bit, but honestly it didn't work that well, so I fixed it. And now Now, one of the other things that I really was trying to work on before I sort of got back into the recording game of all of this, I also was trying to figure out how I was going to design the passageways throughout my base, and I figured out that pretty well now, so I'm not too worried about that anymore. But we do have tons of stuff we still need to design. So, one of the biggest things and reasons why I wanted a giant villager network is because I wanted to have more types of villagers than I have had in the past. I wanted to have masons and blacksmiths and all of the types so I could be able to re-gear a lot more quickly and also get experience a lot more quickly because I keep losing lots of durability in my tools. So that is also one of the reasons I wanted to build this, and my other farms actually, because two of my other farms have large networks of furnaces for me to use, so I can get experience. So I've done a lot of explaining so far. I feel like all I've done is like explain what I'm doing and the reasons why I'm building this tower first, but I did not wish you guys a happy Christmas, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, or happy any winter holiday. This build is not really winter themed because, quite honestly, it's just not a very winter themed build. It's just a build I needed to do, and I sort of finally got the motivation to do it. So my last big episode, I built my Froglight shop, and it has not been doing so well considering half the server is still not online. If you come in here too, you can see I have some extra shulker boxes now. I gave away approximately 16 shulker boxes for Christmas. Because all of us here on the server celebrate Christmas. But if anybody else celebrated, I would do like a different design on their present box. I think I've mostly updated you guys. I did some detailing around here, which I think I talked about last episode. I've sort of also been breeding up my cows a bit more, trying to get more cows, just because I feel like I keep killing so many of them. I have lots and lots of problems with food right now on Minecraft. I've been losing so much recently, I just keep killing cows. So I was trying to fix that sort of dilemma I was dealing with. I also have a pumpkin melon farm, even though it's not automated right now. I just think it's like nice to have a little pumpkin melon farm. Here I have all my pumpkins and melons of a recent harvest. Pretty easy to make. It took a few revisions, but honestly, I think my farm turned out pretty well. The boulders were probably the hardest part because I've rebuilt them like 3 times, but well, I would say the boulders are the hardest part. I would say figuring out how to do all the crops and then placing the water was the hardest part, because to be quite honest, you have to like place and replace water and re-hoe all of the areas. It's so hard and so repetitive that it's like I needed to do a flyover so many times just to see the areas where I needed more water. So I'm very glad that that step's now over, but the harvest process does take like hours. If I want to harvest this entire thing, it takes hours, which is why I usually like do it section by section. Probably the one I'm gonna harvest next is the wheat. I was just waiting for all of it to grow in, which it looks like it has, and very beautifully. There are also some more exterior things I want to do around the perimeter of the base, because as you can see here, it's sort of, this is what some of the base looks like. That's exactly how it looks like over here. And honestly, I don't really like the look of it. So that's one of my other projects that I'm planning on trying to work on a bit off camera. Just because it's one of those tedious things where it's really hard for me to do it well and record. So it's It's probably going to be my next off-camera project to sort of make the exterior look nice in the base. Because over here you can see this is sort of how it looks around most of the base. In some parts of the base, it's even worse. So, like, that's, like, sort of, this is the worst part. Right here, around the front. The part that most people are going to be seeing is around here, so I want to sort of fix that up, make it look a bit nicer. I also want to be able to connect, like, a jump-off point. I think I've talked about this before, but I sort of want to be able to fly out of my base and fly down pretty easily and have, like, a level entryway over here. So I was planning on trying to mine down some of this area and level it out, maybe. Maybe make some, like, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do here, but maybe make some tinier builds. I don't know yet. But I sort of don't like the way that it looks right now, so I'm sort of brainstorming ideas right now on how to fix that. Oh well, and anyways, John, if you remember John, went missing a few weeks ago. And if you do not remember John, he is a donkey that I keep all of my bad omen potions in, because I was sort of accumulating quite a few. And I quite honestly accumulated a few more while he was missing. But I have found John again, and we are reunited. There is dear John. And if you get that reference, it wasn't a very good reference. But here's John, and very fast donkey. But he holds all of the secrets of my bad omen potions. I have 8 bad omen bottles, and they all last an hour and 40 minutes. So when I say I have a lot, I mean I have a lot of these potions. But over time, I've sort of figured out how to deal with them and put them in something. I will literally give them to my server mates for free. That's how I deal with them. I give them away. But anyways, I've been talking for a while. I've been talking about all the stuff I've been doing, and to be quite honest, that's not one of my favorite parts of the video. My favorite parts of the video are building. So I've sort of gone with a type of steampunky look, I guess. It's sort of like I have lots of stone on the walls. So I put some stone on the walls everywhere, and it has copper and like dark oak, which always makes me think steampunk. Because I don't know why redstone makes me think steampunk. To be honest, I don't know why I do this to myself. I had to get so much copper for this build. In here you can see all the copper I needed to get, and it doesn't look like a lot of copper, but it was 8 stacks of honey. 8 stacks of honeycomb to wax this copper. So, to be honest, it was a bit torturous just to sit there and wait at my honey farm the other day. But it's all done for now. So, here is the overall area that I think is going to be one of the most productive areas in my base. I'm probably going to AFK here the most. And I think putting an AFK spot in would probably be useful, but I'll eventually do that later. But right now, I just want to get my farms built, I want to get storage for the farms built, and I want to get the villager area built. And as we start to build this, I want to thank you guys for allowing me to sort of take hiatuses and still get views when I come back. I want to thank you guys for being such great viewers every time I come back. I am so excited to show you guys whatever I build in Minecraft, and I am so glad that you guys actually enjoy to watch my videos. So thank you guys, the viewers, who actually make me want to continue making these videos and these giant builds for you guys to be able to see and allow me to sort of show you guys how cool things in Minecraft can be and get. Anyways, I wish you all a Merry Christmas, and I will see you guys in the time lapse. Hello, everybody. Before the time lapse, I have a little clip. I just wanted to let you guys know this is future editing Rubik's. Well, sort of. I haven't really started editing yet, but I've got most of the parts together. And I have a few things I want to say before we start this time lapse. And I'm sorry I started it up and then now I have a little chat time. So, 3 of my time lapses corrupted in the replay mod. I really don't know how it happened, to be honest. I think it had something to do with, how the chests change skins over Christmas. So I was doing this during Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So I think those textures might have messed up the recording a bit due to the error code I got. I'm not 100% sure what happened. That's just my current theory. But I want to let you guys know that that's why some of the time lapses are substituted with separate recordings that are from my perspective as you're seeing me, so you get to see a bit of the Matica magic and some of the other stuff that I'm doing, and basically you get to see my inventory and how much I really mess with that. So it's sort of a cool perspective to see, but also I don't usually show it because it's a bit harder to edit that way, but because most of the big parts of the time lapse corrupted, I had to substitute those overall. And finally, the last thing I'm going to say before the time lapse is I want to give a shout out to the people who create the Christmas music that I use in this video. Overall, I have different special Christmas music I've been using for the background music, and I have different special Christmas music I'm going to be using in the time lapse. I absolutely love DJ Williams's Christmas soundtracks, and I find all of these in the YouTube audio library. If you wonder where I get my background music and stuff, that's where I found it. YouTube audio library. But I absolutely love DJ Williams's Christmas renditions, especially the ones with the guitar. I just find them so wonderful. And this year I found a new one. And this year I found new Christmas background music by the Soundlings. Absolutely love it. And I just wanted to let you guys know because I absolutely love this Christmas music and using it in my videos. I thought they should get the proper credit because I love to use it so much. So thank you guys for indulging me for a bit and just letting me explain, and I will see you guys in the time lapse. Hello everybody and welcome back from the time lapse. So it's been about a day since I've recorded. Well, it hasn't been a day since I've finished recording the time lapse. It took over the span of 2 days to build this. As you can probably tell by the time lapses, because obviously one of them has the Christmas chests. I absolutely love these chests. I just always record earlier than Christmas. Unlike this year, unfortunately. Sorry for this video being a bit after Christmas, just because of my editing schedule. But we have wonderful large chests full of stuff. I have my kelp farm, which is connected to an autocrafter, and oh my goodness, I use so many tutorials. I'll give you the tutorial for the farm, the kelp farm, and the sugarcane farm, and the bamboo farm, and the cactus farm. But quite honestly, all the clock videos, I watched 7 of them until I found a good one, and each one I gained more knowledge. So I would just say literally look up any redstone clock video, because those people are geniuses and they have 5 different clocks you can use. My personal favorite is the one that I use here, so you can actually see it better up on that level. But we have a comparator, 2 observers, and a sticky piston. So if we wait a few more minutes for one of these farms to trigger, you will be able to see the farm go off, or I can technically fly up to the top and maybe rig it so that you can see it. Or no, I can't. Oh, I missed it. Okay, well, one of these is gonna grow soon enough. Oop, I just heard one grow. Okay, this one I can probably tell is about to break. Oop. You can see a few items floating around because these farms are not foolproof. You'll probably lose some items even if you use them, but they are pretty well done, and to be quite honest, they work really well anyways. I think the most foolproof is probably the cactus farm because it just uses game mechanics unlike the rest of them. The kelp farm, to be quite honest, kelp does get stuck in it if you do not do the right stuff. So you can see there's a bit of kelp stuck there, and there are a few different pieces of kelp stuck everywhere. And I had that problem in my creative world too, but to be honest, it is way worse when you do not level out the water the way you need to level it out for that kelp farm. It is honestly one of the easier stacked kelp farms I found, but it also is immensely resource necessary. And if you really want to cut down on resources, you can just use one observer instead of the one for every single one that I did, because to be quite honest, I'm saying that quite a lot. But you only need one observer for the farms to work, but I decided to put in all of the observers just for efficiency, and because I didn't need to put any less, I really just thought it would be best if I had lots of observers. So I ended up using, I think it was 3 stacks of observers. It was quite a lot. But, oh my goodness, why is it taking so long? Okay, I'm gonna rig it myself. Don't you guys worry, I'm going to show you guys how it works. So you can obviously just use the 2 observers facing each other if you want a constant clock, but that clicking was driving me crazy in my creative world. So I thought I have to find a better way. So I looked up better redstone clocks, and of course I found one that is almost exactly the same way, but it fixes the problems I was having with it. So if I fly all the way up, to the top here, and land here, and we can place 1 and then 2. That's gonna break down, and then you can see it pushes it up when you find any ones, and then the honey's there just to give it a safer passage down, because I honestly was having a few problems with the minecart not picking it up down there. So as you can see, when it breaks it, the comparator sends a signal to the observer because there's actually something in the dropper. The piston gets that redstone signal and pushes the observer up, and the observers do that to each other until the comparator notices that there is no more items in it, and then the observer is pulled back down. To be quite honest, that is the extent of my redstone knowledge. I understand what the blocks do, but I can't put them together. So sort of you can see up there, yeah, it happened again, and they sort of glide down, and you can watch it go all the way down to the bottom. So my extent of redstone knowledge is probably what observers, pistons, and clocks do, but I am not very good with it. So I usually find tutorials and use those to help me. And so any second now, a few of these will be growing, and more sugarcane will be falling down into my little area. But yeah, I think my favorite farm to actually build was the cactus farm, just because of how easy it is. The sugarcane farm is the one I probably needed the most, and the bamboo and what farm is this again? Kelp farms are probably just like fuel sources. So you can see I have quite a lot of bamboo already. And this is like from the time I was building and I stood here for a little bit. So I have quite a lot of bamboo from that. Sugarcane farm's quite a bit slower. So it's one of those things that I probably don't need this much storage for, but I certainly hope I will at some point in the future. And then here's the dried kelp farm. It is by far the most pain in the butt to use. So I'm hoping, yeah. So I didn't develop enough experience in here to really fully repair anything. Yeah, see, my elytra are getting pretty low in experience. But as over time, as the dried kelp continues to go into account, it will be much better. So I do not want to do that. I want to see this. So yeah, you can see here, and one of the great things about the dried kelp farm is that you can use it reusably. So you can consistently just restock it with its own dried kelp. And I put a stack of coal in there, and I have not gotten through. Dried kelp farm works really well. The slowest part about it is the smokers. So over time, it's going to load up into this hopper, and then eventually it's going to go in as fuel to here, but it's supposed to overall help with my fuel problem, because I go through a lot of fuel, and dried kelp's an okay fuel. It's really mostly just for me to be able to get more experience. Same thing with the green dye farm, green dye cactus farm. I use it for both, so you can see I go up onto this platform and it has the cactus, and you can obviously tell by this. This is like my rudimentary sort of redstone knowledge. I'm not really good with it. I was able to do like enough to get it down here into this area, and then I sort of had to mess around a lot to be able to get it to the position it needed to be in. But I have like entryways to go back into the backs of my farms if I ever need to. So I have this is just a giant super smelter basically. This is a giant super smelter made specifically for green dye. So here's the fuel area. It doesn't really have a load in yet, just because I haven't put in a hopper minecart. But the other one, I haven't even loaded up the furnaces yet. I have just built it all, because it's not an easy thing to build, is the way I would describe all of this. It's not easy to build, it's not easy to sort of come out of. It is very extensive. And one of the things about these types of furnaces is that if you don't have a system already where you're just distributing the green dye above the furnaces, the cactuses above the furnaces, or have some sort of comparator system, it's really hard to gauge. And otherwise you just need 2 furnaces, but that makes it go way slower, which is what I am experiencing with the kelp farm right now, because it built up while I was building it. So that's why I have so much kelp in it right now. You see, I have okay, so this one's going a bit faster because it had less, but this one Still going on a full stack of kelp, and it's got 7 pieces left before it's gonna be done. This smoker is always gonna need more fuel, and it's always going to need more attention because it's what it fuels into. And this one also gets fueled into, but not as much, so like to lighten the load, I can obviously take some and put it into here, because it only really goes into there if this hopper becomes backed up. So it's very important that like you monitor these farms, which is something I do because I can't sit still whenever I AFK. It is very hard for me to AFK just as a Minecraft player, and I know that about myself, which is really useful. If it comes to it, I can always sort of lean back on my knowledge of that to figure things out, and that's one of the things that you do is you learn redstone. I've learned over time. As you do redstone, you sort of learn to make things more automatic, and you learn to make things easier to use overall. And one of the really big things about these redstone farms is that I was trying to make it more automatic, and I ended up making it more automatic. There are probably quite a few ways I could have improved this design, but this is just sort of me getting to know redstone better. And to be quite honest, I think it was a pretty good attempt at it. So that is me talking about redstone. So wow, that was me talking about redstone, which I don't do a lot. So one of my biggest things is building, and so this is honestly one of the plainest projects I've worked on. I guess you could call it like that. It's like plain. It's not super individual. It doesn't have anything very distinct about it. I sort of went with a very generic style, which I do a lot if I have like a giant project like this. This probably took me the most time well, no, it definitely did not take me the most time. It took me quite a lot of time to figure out the design too, and sort of figure out how to work with it. So I got lighting done really nicely, and I have all of these villager spots now that I need to fill. But I'm probably going to do that off camera just because of how tedious it is. Because when you send a villager in here, it's pretty easy to get them all mixed up. Oh, and I also wanted to clean up this area over here. So I'm not talking about this area with all of my materials boxes in it, but I'm actually talking about this area up here with all the bamboo, because I have a bit of an excess of bamboo and I don't really need to be growing this anymore. But the even bigger one is probably the sugarcane farm all the way down here, because it hasn't been producing a lot of sugarcane recently. So, well, it hasn't been producing enough to meet my needs, which is why I really wanted to get the automatic one built so I could just AFK there more frequently to get more sugarcane. So one of the biggest things I really wanted to do this episode was to get these cleaned up, which is what I'm doing now. And it doesn't really ruin the shoreline aesthetic, but I've been using this like giantly long chain of sugarcane for a really long time now, and I sort of want to stop using it. So I AFK'd at my gunpowder farm after I finished building and everything. I cleaned up all of my shulker boxes. I put all of that stuff away. I have a new copper bits and bobs storage, and I have more space for the copper down here overall. And I think it's so funny. My base, it looks really weird because the chests are not their normal color, but it's very festive. Got like lots of Christmas trees lining the wall. I can't wait to see what my storage will look like, because I'm not really sure what my next project will be. I need to design the next tower I'm going to build. You might have also seen in the time lapses, some were a bit cut up, some had some dying moments, and it's just a bit of a hard thing to do when you're recording, to try and not die. I would not survive in hardcore with this build, guys. Oh my goodness. I died so much building the exterior, now the interior is killing me. It's not good. So I need to do some replenishing of my resources, because as you can tell, my elytra are about to die. Well, not really soon, but soon in the future, so I need to repair those up. And I need to get designing for my next tower. But as I pick up the rest of this bamboo... Okay. That chore is done. Now, as the sun sets behind me, I want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate, because I love the Christmas season. But I hope you guys have a really great holiday, and I will see you guys next episode. And I can't wait to show you whatever I've planned and worked on. And thank you to you viewers, and thank you to anyone who decides to subscribe after watching this video. You guys are really why I post. So thank you for your support. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.